So thank you, Eric, for joining us. I know you have such a busy schedule.
My pleasure. Thank you.
But I think at the end of our conversation, you're going to agree that Eric has such an inspiring story. So Eric, you arrived in Silicon Valley about 21 years ago, 1997.
That's right.
And just like quite a few number of you guys, we both come from a different country. We're going to both have an accent, but you had some problem coming here. You know, how long? I mean, the first time you applied for your visa?
That was early 1996, and the first time I tried, and I got declined for 8 times over the 2 years.
8 times, and then you still tried the ninth one. And you got it.
I knew the tenacity very important in the future for me to start a company. So I sort of like practice that.
So you arrived 1997 after 9th time applying for the visa, almost 2 years to get that piece of paper. You joined WebEx.
Yep.
And you were one of the founding engineers.
Yep.
1997, the company went public in?
Year 2000.
So 3 years.
Just before crash, in July year 2000. We were probably one of the last 4 or 5 companies who went public before the .com crash.
And so WebEx, for the ones who don't know, it's you do real-time communications, audio.
Yeah, for web conferencing.
Web conferencing. Yeah. So you went IPO, and then, boom, Cisco decides.
Yeah, 2007. Yeah.
Yes. Over $3 billion, almost $4 billion.
Yeah, 3.2 billion.
So that was it, right? You could 10 years, 1997, 2007. You're good, right? You could retire.
No, actually, looking back, that's not a good exit at all, because I joined Cisco. Cisco is a great company, and unfortunately, Cisco was unwilling to change the collaboration strategy back then. After I joined Cisco 2007, and the first year for sure is great. But after that, there's no innovation anymore. And quite often I talk with a WebEx customer, and I did not see a single happy customer. I wrote a lot of code for WebEx product, and however, the 14 years of hard work, you see the customer not happy, what can you do, right? You feel it's really hard every day, because customer not happy, you are not happy. I really wanted to fix that problem.
Yeah, but you were corporate VP at Cisco, probably 6, maybe 7-figure salary. I mean, that was a comfortable life. And then you said, forget about that. And
because I live in Silicon Valley, right? That's a startup valley. It's really hard for me. I have 3 kids. Really hard for me to tell them I work for a big
I'm
legacy
wondering
company.
what was the conversation with your wife at that time when she realized, oh, well, I'm giving up my job.
Yeah, for sure, my wife does not want me to quit. However, actually, it's really hard to share the story with my kids. Hey, which company do you work for? I work for a big, company. It's meaning here, you are not capable, right? I think a startup company, I think that's a way to drive the economy forward, especially Silicon Valley. If you do not work for a startup, you feel like you lag behind. So.
Right. So the idea was to improve something that you've built. You spent 14 years building, and you said, okay, this is, I can't, it doesn't work. Yeah. I'm going to rebuild it from scratch.
Yeah, I wanted to start over, but Cisco did not allow me to do that. That's why I said, fine, I'm going to leave to fix that problem, because I feel like I have an obligation to fix that problem, because it's created by, our engineers, myself included.
So how did you start? I mean, you need you have the idea. You're a tech guy, so you knew how to build the product, but you need money, you need people. How did this come about?
I think a little bit lucky, because I decided to leave, and then 1 month after I left Cisco, the top 45 engineers who built WebEx, they all quit. They followed me, and also talked with several of my friends, and all those angel investor friends. I raised the $3 million. The seed funding, that's how we started.
So they gave you the business angels?
Yeah, all the friends, yeah.
All friends and family gave you $3 million.
Yeah.
Did they know what you were going to do?
Most of them, they do not know what I'm going to do. So,
all right, that doesn't happen all the time. Yeah. So, and those 40 people that wanted to join you, did you pay them salaries? Or?
I do, and it pays them very well, actually, even higher.
With the $3 million, you could.
Yeah, absolutely. Because very soon we reached our A round, so 3 million just probably around a year. So yeah.
So at the beginning, you said, well, it's going to take you a year to build a product. Actually, it took you 2 years.
Yes.
So it always take longer, right?
It's too optimistic. So.
Yeah. So how did you manage to survive? I mean, you had $3 million. You had people that loved you and want to work with you, but still.
Actually, pretty straightforward. Because back then, our philosophy was that we only have engineers. No product manager, no QAs, no sales, no marketing, no BD. Except for myself, everybody else just the engineers. It's pretty straightforward. In terms of cost, it's very manageable. Yeah.
So you have an interesting idea was that you don't believe that to start a company you need co-founders. You can do it. I mean, you did it alone, but there's a caveat. Yeah. At that time you didn't need any co-founder. Why?
There's a pros and cons, right? If like 30 years ago, when I was probably 23, 24 years old, when I started, if I wanted to start a company, for sure, I'd like to have a co-founder, right? With either sales background, maybe marketing background. When I started a company 2011, I was already 41 years old. I learned a lot over the past 20 years, and I would say, it's no need to have a co-founder. I think my left brain can talk to right brain, and vice versa. It's much easier. Otherwise, I need to convince you. What if you have a different opinion? You might need to convince me. I would say, when it comes to start up a company, the speed is everything, right? If you can afford, doing that by yourself without a co-founder, I think that's still best. But however, most of the time, that's not the case. You should have a co-founder. So I thought about a lot. So finally, I decided I do not need a co-founder. So.
Right. How did you reach?
But by the way, I do treat all those founding engineers as my co-founder. So I always talk with them. So.
Right, but they don't have those RSUs and shares. But that's a great way. Actually, I would recommend treat everybody as your co-founders, but don't tell them.
Yeah. No, I did tell them. I treat everyone. I think I do not have a co-founder, but you're all founding engineers, and together I treat them as a co-founder. Yeah.
So how did you reach product market fit? Because one of the things, okay, you have this idea, you know more or less how to build it, but then at the end of the day, customers, you need to have customers that pay for it. So
first of all, we got to eat our own dog food, right? So every day we try the product before we feel comfortable, meaning, we like the product. We also tried all other product orders there. We also tried Zoom back then. Before we know our product is better than any other solution orders there, we really don't want to give any other customer to try. And after that, we give a lot of end users, customers, business, the companies to try. I think they give us all the feedback, but keep improving that. It's just a process.
Right. So when did you say, well, although the product is never done, but when did you say, well, that's the product market fit. I think we can start getting people to try it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I remember the 1 week before the 2012 Christmas timeframe. I think at that time product is still in the R form and still very buggy, a lot of problems. And however, we got the first check from a Stanford continuing studies group. They tested everything, and finally they thought our quality is better. I got the 2000 check. One of our at that time hired the product marketing guy. He bought a check, and he told me that, hey, this is a check from a customer. I thought he was joking, and I seriously, I never deposited a check back then. So, and after we got the check, realized, the product, I think, is sort of ready, and we are going to add more resources, right, to monetize that.
Right. So, and at that time, was the company called Zoom?
Yes, yes.
Okay, because at the beginning you didn't have a name for.
Oh, sorry. Actually, back then, 2012, the company was not called Zoom. You're right.
So what was on the check?
The check is I forgot.
Personal check was on your name.
No, that's a 2000 check. And anyway, I forgot we call it a SaaS B. Is a weird name. And the 2 months before 2 weeks before we launched the product service, we still don't have a good name. And I called one of our advisors, Jim Shaman, and I called him over the weekend. Hey, I'm going to launch the service very soon for beta. I do not have a product name or even company domain. And he gave me 3 names. I picked up Zoom. So.
Well, that was. I don't recommend to do that either, but that's.
But I did try very hard. Seriously, over the 6 months time frame, every day I spent probably 1 hour time frame, 1 hour time in the afternoon, write a name on the whiteboard and register the domain, and sometimes domain not available, sometimes everybody mentioned, Eric, you are crazy, that name is terrible, you cannot do that. 6 months completely failed. And so I highly recommend you, when it comes to name, you better talk with some advisor or consultant.
Yeah, someone from the outside.
Yeah. It's really hard. Yeah.
So one of the important topics when you start a company is fundraising. So you started with $3 million from friends and family. How did you manage? When did you say, well, you thought you needed more fund?
I think after the 3 million, we got the A round. A round also a little bit lucky because all the A round investors also, most of them are the angel investors as well.
And they knew you.
Yeah. Okay. So that's A round. I think seed round. I think we did not talk with any, institutional VCs, and it's very lucky. And
so how much did you raise?
We raised another 6.5, I think. Yeah.
Right.
For our A round. Yeah.
Right. How do you? I mean, another sort of tricky topic is valuation. How do you, you obviously you had it in mind a number and. I
don't actually. When it comes to valuation, we always think about you got to be generous, right? Especially for the early stage, right? All the early, the investors. You do not know if you can build a sustainable business or not. Especially for those people, they even do not know what I'm going to do, right? And got to give them very good valuation, and also make sure you are very generous, and also they are going to support you down the road. I think we did not spend any time to negotiate the valuation. Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty straightforward.
Right. So Series A, Series B.
The B is different. So after the Series A, after the product is sort of ready, and we know actually the best way to raise the money is make sure you focus on customer, focus on product experience. Let VC, they heard about your story. Right? They talk with you much better than you just talk with them, right? Because you are very busy. And plus, really hard to know which VC, which partner they are going to support you, right? So especially in Silicon Valley, so many VCs, especially they all mentioned they are going to invest into, you, right? Actually, most of them, they invest into your business. They do not invest in you, right? This is very tricky. Yeah.
Right, because the business can go
many
ways.
Down. Yeah, exactly. And if, that's a lot of stories. So.
Right. So when did you say that Series A, you need a Series A, and why did you, to do what?
Because, as I mentioned, we have so many engineers, 3 million for sure is not enough. Right? Very soon we are going to run out of money. And that's why we need, I think at that time I thought probably another 3 million, to bring the product to the public beta. And I know actually if I need 3 million, we better double that amount. So because always leave some buffer. That's why we raised the 6.5. Yeah. Right. So meaning when you try to raise money, see if you need a 10 million, ideally you raise like 15 or 20, right? Because quite often you think you need a 10 million, but as a matter of fact, probably you need a 15 or 20. So always leave some buffer.
Right. So is there a case where there's just too much money? You raise too much money. So some
money always not too much. Actually.
Right. Okay. All right.
So you can hire more engineers, more sales rep, right? Yeah. So as long as you do not, kind of waste the money, because I told our team, when after we got the money, we deposit the money in the bank. I told our team, guys, this is not the money anymore. This is the trust, from our investors. We really need to care about those money. in early stage, right, when sometimes I have dinner with some others, potential customers or advisors, I just use, I paid it by myself because I do not know should I reimburse that or not. For any time, if I do not feel clear, I just use my, my own, credit card to pay for that. Because this is investor money. You really need to care about that.
Right. No, totally. I mean, this is coming from someone who raised just, last year you raised $100 million.
No, that's 2016.
2016, yes. And you're now part of this very selective group of unicorns.
I do not know what that means.
Yes, I know you don't like the term, but it's in there. It's there. And but for the founders here in the room, what would be some of the main advices? What would be the advices that you would give them? They're already, they have the idea, they're ready to start, or they're in the process. And
I think two things, that's what I learned. Number one thing, always think about the customer, think about product. If you have very happy customers, if your product works very well, I think even if you do not try to raise money, I'm pretty sure a lot of VC will talk with you. And that's the number one thing. Number two thing is, I think there's so many VCs, so many great partners, and to find those who really care about you, really wanted to invest into you rather than your business is really, really important. As you mentioned earlier, business can be up and down, right? In case there's something wrong, if they only invest into your business, they can do something. Hey, you do not fit well anymore, right? They go to the new CEO. By finding those partners really, wanted to invest into you, that's the most important thing.
Right, but you could have a great product, but I mean, when you started, you had enormous competitors. You had Cisco, obviously, Cisco WebEx.
Almost everybody.
Skype, Microsoft, Google Hangouts.
Yep. The GoToMeeting as well.
Yes, GoToMeeting. How, I mean, you're in front of this mountain, and how do you say, well,
That's a good question. That's why, I knew that if you can build something better than any other solution. Plus, before I started, I already talked with many customers. I know none of those solutions can satisfy customer need, right? So, and if you can build something better than any other solutions, can truly deliver happiness to customers, I think I have a chance.
So one of the ways you grew Zoom is through partnerships. You went with Logitech, Salesforce, and Centrify. Talk to us about how do you, there's a lot of people doing business development in the Valley, and you don't really know what they do. It's like, being a producer in Hollywood. So, how do you do?
The partnership is more like from a customer's perspective, right? After they deploy Zoom, they also use the Salesforce. They wanted to have a CRM integration, and they are, Logitech camera. They also use the Zoom. They also need the integration. If a customer, they are asking about the integration, that's why we need a partnership. We do not leverage the partnership that much to generate the revenue, for the new customer. That's not our goal. Our goal is to make sure if in the user, like a universities, they are using a learning management system, at the same time they deploy Zoom, for sure we needed to have a seamless integration.
Right. So you're not using partnership for just a marketing?
No, not at all. Yeah.
So you focus a lot of the products. You're a product person. Zoom is at least in the beginning was a product-focused company. At what point you decided to maybe have added some sales and maybe marketing?
So our philosophy was that before our engineer team, right, before the founding team can find a one or two paid customers, we should not recruit the sales team. Because we closed the 2 to 3 deals already. Then we realized, we are ready now. We can
So the engineering team?
Yes, the founding team, myself included, right? So we closed several deals, and then we started hiring a sales team. And also we do not have marketing team back then. After we have so many customers, organic growth works very well, and then we started building up our marketing team. So step by step, we never wanted to do, on day one, get a marketing sales team, BD support. I think it's too complex. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's another theory that you're famous for is that you don't want to grow too fast.
Yeah. absolutely.
But then, when a founder, has a startup and then wants to raise money, I mean, everybody's talking about metrics. I mean, you have to be, it has to be up to the right. And so
our philosophy is really focused on making sure that existing customer happy. We know if existing customer happy, sooner or later you are going to have a new customer. However, if you just focus on chasing after the new customers, what if your existing customer they're not happy? Because you won't have 8 hours working hours, 24 hours a day. If you spend all the time to chase after the new prospect, who's going to take care of the existing ones, right? That's why, our core philosophy is to make sure existing customer happy. If they are happy, guess what? They are going to refer many new customers to you. You do not need to spend money, to generate the leads, right? I think they are going to help you.
Right. So I see that we have a queue for Q&As, and I don't know if you have anyone had any questions. Yeah, just on the second row. Yeah.
Thank you for taking time to enlighten us. I have one question regarding how did you study the competitive landscape when you said your perception was that a lot of customers were not happy with existing solution, whether it's WebEx or were there any user study, marketing study? How was the conclusion arrived?
So that's a wonderful question. So before I left Cisco and I spent a lot of time talking with let's say the WebEx customers, as I mentioned, I did not see a single happy customer. And I talked with other companies, hey, which solution you are using today? They talk about other solutions. I asked them, hey, how do you feel like that product experience? I did not see a single happy customer mention, oh, we are using that solution, we are very happy. So because of that, I know that's a huge opportunity. Because you got to spend time talking with those prospective customers. If you are using something very happy, I think really hard, to build something better, than those legacy solutions.
And one of the things, I mean, that surprised me is that you were competing almost head-to-head with WebEx. But one of the things you decided to do is to focus on the small businesses. WebEx was more...
I think, we do not compete against WebEx. I think when we started, even today, because if you look at the conferencing industry, that's a teleconferencing, web conferencing, and video conferencing. For those WebEx customers, they are just use WebEx for the phone call, the share PowerPoint. They do not want to use a video. They still can keep using WebEx. For those customers that really wanted to turn on the video, center around a video collaboration experience, they switch to Zoom platform. Essentially, we built the next generation of the platform, more like your smartphone and also the feature phone, right? You just want a phone call, you don't need to use the iPhone anymore, right? Today, the iPhone is so many other features. That's why they all switch to the smartphone. So
right. So that's why there was no issue with a not compete clause or anything when you left Cisco?
Yeah, no issue, especially this is California.
Yeah, yes, there's no compete clause. You have questions?
Yeah, feel free if you have any questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So as a foreign founder, how did you deal with diversity in your team? How did you intentionally structure the first 5 people who come with you? Scale to Trinity and now they become a unicorn. What did you learn along the way in terms of diversity?
I think, my philosophy is, founding team or the, any new hires. Actually, for me, actually, I really wanted to kind of let everybody know that this is a, long journey for startup journey, right? Make sure they all self-motivated, right? And, they understand why we built this company and share the same vision, right? That's why I see we are not eager to hire so many people. We want to hire those people to share the same vision, really focus on building the best product and make sure customers are happy. And I think if we keep that philosophy, I think everything else, very, very easier, yeah.
How much of your time do you spend in hiring?
Very little now. I spend probably 60 or 70% of time on sales now. Yeah.
Right, but at the beginning,
before we have 100 employees, I spend a lot of time. And beyond 100, it's really hard.
Because one of the things you mentioned before, it was about culture. Yeah. That's for you was really important.
Yeah. As long as you share the philosophy, hiring philosophy with all the hiring managers, like we focus on self-motivation, self-learning, we hire for the potential. As long as you share that philosophy with everybody else, you do not need to interview, by yourself anymore.
Right. What about firing?
It's, you know,
There's not a lot of layoffs at Zoom.
we do not like that philosophy, you know, hire fast, you know, fire fast, right? We really don't like that. You know, when it comes to, you know, firing, you know, if you have a like integrity issue and zero tolerance. If a performance issue, we never fire you, and we go through the process, very long process. You know, it also comes to me, and if you tried everything, we make sure employee know that. It's because our company value is care. We really care about employees.
Right.
You cannot do something. You hire this employee this week, and next month you fire them. Does not make any sense.
Right. That's you mentioned about performance. If it's a performance issue.
The performance issue, we still go through a process. You know,
Right.
make sure manager, VP, and also president and myself, we all needed to help them. Until we tried everything we can, we still cannot help you, you know, to improve your performance. We might look around if there's any other open positions for you. And we still cannot find that. Maybe we can discuss, you know, some other solutions. Normally, we do not fire anyone because of their performance.
Right. It's a really happiness company. Happiness all around.
We try, so
All
we
right.
try.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you.